Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes as we still have some people that are joining the webinar. It looks like the attendees are starting to slow down, so we'll just go ahead and get started. So hi, everyone. Welcome to the TSC monthly webinar series. Our topic today will be robotic process automation, or RPA. Monty Keene with Hyland, who's a healthcare automation consultant, will be our presenter. We also have Jack Pompey with TSC. He'll be fielding the questions that come through the chat, so feel free to ask those questions. If you aren't currently receiving emails on our monthly webinars, please let us know in the chat and we'll get you added. Also, stay tuned at the end of our presentation for our upcoming webinar topics. Thank you to everyone for attending, and we look forward to a great and informative webinar. So I'll begin by sharing who is TSC. So Technology Solutions Consultants was founded in 2011 as a solution provider, and we recognize that enterprise content management is a relationship business. That being said, every team member has a minimum of 10 years experience working with OnBase and related technologies, and many of us have over 20 years. So in addition to many of our certifications, our core strengths include focused Hyland software value-added reseller and being recognized as a core solution provider by Hyland. We maintain Microsoft Cloud Partner MCP status, and we're a tenured IBM partner for data capture and advanced capture, including AI integration. We've also been awarded and recognized by Hyland in 2023 as a core solution provider with the first ever awarded low-code app development with OnBase award. So we're very proud of that, and we hope to continue to be recognized by Hyland in 2024. So Monty, I think we're ready if you'd like to go ahead and get started.
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. My name is Monty King. I'm, again, part of the Hyland Healthcare Automation team. Very happy to be here with you talking about robotic process automation today. Three core components to the presentation today. We introduced the concept of RPA. We'll talk a little bit about the Hyland RPA suite. And then, when and where to use RPA, we've got some use cases we're going to talk about. So, what is robotic process automation? It's basically a software package written to emulate keystrokes and/or human actions. Structured data, rules-based, high volume, these are important factors in a successful deployment of RPA. If a person can be taught to go to a website, log in, put in credentials, navigate to a specific area of the site, and either retrieve or exchange information, a bot can be programmed to do it as well. If a person can be taught, the steps to access an internal system and retrieve information, take that information and populate a database or load it into another system or a spreadsheet, a reporting tool or a website, a bot can as well. It's important to note that a bot can be programmed to take on multiple tasks in a 24-hour period, just like a human being. Bots don't get sick, their kids don't get sick, they don't take vacations, and they can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without stopping if necessary. They're completely accurate. They'll do exactly what you program them to do. Apologize, I had a little trouble there moving the screen. We've got a certain philosophy on RPA. Again, we're looking for repetitive, time-consuming, rule-based, standardized, functions throughout the enterprise. But we have so many different tools at our disposal from a Hyland perspective. We're really cognizant of the fact that we use our native technology before we try to implement RPA. So we always want to be, OnBase first, ServiceNow first, Salesforce first. Use that native technology you've invested in wherever you can, and then let RPA be the glue between those technologies to fit them together. We want to replace these manual, repetitive, mundane tasks that you see your people doing today so that we can free them up to do really cool, special things across the enterprise. So let me pause right there, see what kind of questions we have from the group about what RPA is.
It looks like we did have one question come through, Monty. So you said that Hyland RPA can replicate things like keystrokes. What about like actions like copy and paste?
Absolutely. So let me go to, here's a good screen for this. We talk about all the applications that are possible with RPA, opening mail attachments, moving files, logging into websites, but we can copy and paste from spreadsheets. We can copy and paste from Word documents. We can filter structured data from documents. Really have a lot of different capabilities as far as what RPA can do. As long as I can tell it exactly what to do, it can do it. I just cannot make intelligent decisions.
Great, thanks, Monty.
Of course. So every organization's systems and or processes can be different. When I show you these use cases that are on the screen right now, it does not mean we have a predefined bot that can all of a sudden take on these processes. What we know is these processes take place every day and are high touch and require a dedicated person or a team of dedicated people to accomplish them. So now we know the areas where RPA can work, across purchase to pay, record to report, HR, IT, supply chain, customer service. We identify these processes in those areas, and then we identify if there are tasks we can automate to free up resources. Let me give you an example. Birth certificates is one that we just took on with a very large healthcare organization. I'll walk you through this flow chart. Initially, the mother was filling out a handwritten birth worksheet. That birth worksheet was then hand delivered to a group of 7 people who throughout the day process birth certificates for this large healthcare organization. They'd take it, they'd hand key it into OnBase, then they'd go back from OnBase to Epic via workflow and get the necessary information to complete the document, and then manually go out to the state of Ohio's Vital Statistics website, enter the information, and request the birth certificate. So we used a number of automation tools here because it's really resilient. The first thing we did at the top was we used Unity forms or image forms to make this a digital document, so the patient could actually fill it out, digitally. When they had a capability to do that, then we could automatically load it into OnBase versus workflow. We could check to make sure that the document was completely filled out, and then the RPA bot would go out to the State of Ohio's website, navigate to the correct place on the website, and enter the information. If for some reason the birth worksheet could not be digitally filled out and had to be handwritten, we could then scan it. We could then run Hyland intelligent document processing or any type of OCR capture that could handle handwriting. We could classify the document either as a paternity affidavit or a worksheet. We could extract information from it. We could import that information again into a Unity form in OnBase, hit the OnBase queue automatically, and go through the exact same process. This allowed the healthcare organization to go from 7 dedicated people to processing birth certificates every day to 1 just handling the exceptions out here. So again, pretty cool application. Again, we're looking for these intensive, all day, every day type of applications that we can automate. Another one we just recently built, that is pre-built actually, is an OnBase maintenance bot. So if you look at the OnBase module reference guide for OnBase administration, it's over 900 pages. I'm sure most people have never read it cover to cover, but on page 895 starts 7 pages of daily, weekly, and monthly tasks you should be doing to keep your OnBase system healthy. Because most of these maintenance tasks are rule-based, we can program a bot to do them. So we've got 4 right out of the box: unlocking processes, unlocking docs, looking for system unidentified documents, and monitoring import files. Literally, these 4 tasks just take minutes to accomplish. So what's important to note is if you own this pre-built OnBase maintenance bot, it could then be programmed to do other things across the enterprise. This is a fully functioning bot. So, it could do literally in minutes, it could perform these 4 tasks as many times a day as you wanted it to, but then you could add additional processes to it. So our OnBase bots are not priced by the amount of services that they take on during a day, only the fact, I just need to be able to have enough time in the day for 1 bot to do it. That's where I need to add a second bot potentially. I'll pause there, see if there are any questions on the maintenance bot, and we'll jump into after that a little bit about kind of what our bots look like.
I think we're all good for right now, Monty.
All right. So there are 4 components to an OnBase bot. There's the analyst, the designer, the conductor, and the manager. We'll go through these one at a time. So this is really cool. We don't license the analyst. It's a component of the bot, but you literally have unlimited use of this component. So while the main conductor bot, where the work's being done, is loaded on a server, the analyst can be loaded on as many PCs or workstations as you like, and it documents the process that's going on that workstation. So it captures keystrokes. It actually analyzes what that person does every day, and it tracks it. It provides process diagrams, instructions, and it actually starts to build your bot. So let's just take, for example, if you own the OnBase maintenance bot, you'd have unlimited use of this component to run any PC that you wanted to in any department you wanted to, as many times as you wanted to identify problems or potential bottlenecks. Second component is the designer. It's a drag and drop low code designer. It's similar to kind of in very many ways to OnBase workflow. It has drop downs. It has a number of different components on the side where we've got drop downs, and I don't need to be a programmer to design a bot. Simply drag activities, and because it's seamlessly integrated with OnBase, there are components to OnBase built into it as well. The output is a process script for the execution of the automation by the bot. Third component is the actual bot working. So this is where the work's getting done. This is the conductor. This is resides on a server. If I had multiple bots, they'd all reside on the same server. And then the manager. I had a customer once ask me, hey, do I need a bot to watch my bots and make sure they're all working? You don't. The manager does that for you. So the manager is a real-time interface that shows you what's going on in your environment with the bots. It'll fix failures. It'll change priorities. It can start and stop bots. If for some reason, let's say we're working with the birth certificate application and all of a sudden the State of Ohio's website went down, I could program the manager to then refocus those bots in another area of my organization to do additional work or other work. It's just a central administration that enables, me to see what's going on at all times in my environment, and to the point where it will tell me where the bot stopped. It'll actually send an email to me or a text message to say, hey, this bot has stopped and here is where it stopped. It tells me, hey, maybe a website's down, maybe a system's crashed, whatever might be the problem with the bot stopping. And I'll pause there to see if there are any questions on the 4 components of the Hyland RPA bots.
Sure, it looks like we do have one, Monty. So can all 4 of these Hyland RPA components be running on the same server?
Absolutely. And then again, going back to the analyst, we can run that on literally as many workstations as we like to document processes or to, do process mining. Great question.
And then another question that came in, Monty, is what kind of reporting features and functionality is available through Hyland RPA?
Yep. And here's a good example. So right here is we log. Okay, so here's an example. Horry County, which is the county for Myrtle Beach, uses our RPA to process 90,000 personal property tax returns. And you'll see the 4th line down there. We log every transaction, and a full audit report is built. So we know, which ones automatically were processed, which ones were exceptions. So we do have a full reporting and recording possibility. And this seamlessly integrates with any type of OnBase reporting that you might have as well. Due to this success, Horry County is adding additional bots to automate more processes. The CIO for Horry County spoke at our community live event in Las Vegas a month ago or 2 months ago, and they told the story of switching from Blue Prism to Hyland RPA. So we recognize there are a number of great RPA companies out there, but they have kind of one tool, right? Hyland, I think everyone knows, has a multitude, multifaceted, tools. It is an enterprise content services platform. So, the tight integration with OnBase was the icing on the cake. It proved to be a lot easier to configure than Blue Prism as well. Tim told everyone. Funeral directors, insurance, they deployed RPA. The first project was to automate new business processing. They saw an 88% return on bot investment in the first month. The bots allowed employees to focus on building relationships with customers and deliver quicker and more accurate work. And this, I probably should pause here. This is really important. We don't want to replace people. I don't think anybody has enough great people, right? We just want to take these mundane, repetitive tasks off of them so they can start doing the really cool things like engaging with their customers. So the second project was claims processing. I think everyone knows insurance companies are quick to take our money, not always quick to pay it when something happens. And this allowed them to kind of, take that extra step and be quick to pay, So if RPA was there to verify the claim documentation, make sure it was complete and accurate, and if so, auto pay the customer. How cool is that holding an insurance policy, needing that money and getting it paid automatically because there's somebody in there processing, or there's a bot in there processing it right away for you. This saved them 10,000 hours in manual processes per year. Here's a quote again from the OnBase developer there. Automation has allowed us to connect with our clients in a faster, more efficient way, right? So they've taken, again, these mundane, repetitive tasks off of people's plates, and they've allowed them to go back to, better customer service and more interaction with their customers. I'll pause there, see if there are any questions on those, and I'm going to jump into a few more case studies here.
Looks like we had another question come in, Monty. So can Hyland RPA integrate with content services applications other than OnBase?
Absolutely, and it's not dependent on OnBase. So, full transparency, we bought an RPA company 5 years ago. So while it seamlessly integrates with OnBase, it can run completely outside of OnBase. I'll give you an example. University Hospitals up in Cleveland has deployed RPA, and they had 9 nurses that used it for scheduling COVID tests for surgery patients. Once they deployed RPA, which was not touching OnBase in any way, shape, or form, they were allowed to take 8 of those nurses and put them back to work at what they're really great at, which is taking care of patients, right? And then they got 1 nurse that handles the fallout or the exceptions. But to answer your question, it'll integrate basically with any system or any website. I just need to tell it, how to log in and when to log in.
And building on that a little bit, Monty, can the RPA integrate with our API to our business app?
Absolutely. It's and I'll show you that here in a second. It uses APIs in any way, shape, or form that you could normally use an API. So absolutely.
Perfect. Thanks, Monty.
Of course. Here's a situation in AP where a vendor's not found, right? So we need to look at AP vendor creation, and the black screen you see is actually the bot working, right? So you get an invoice in, it's from a vendor that you don't have in your system. The bot recognizes that. If they can go out, open your ERP system, and start to create that vendor account. Here you see the bot, automatically loading that new vendor into your ERP system and then processing the PO. Here's an example of HR onboarding, right? It's something that every organization goes through. Again, we've got a new employee comes in. We have the bot kick off a plan to either go out to, in this case, it's Coastal Computer. We're ordering, we recognize who that employee is, what their level of skill is, or what their job is, and then we know what kind of equipment or we have to get them for their job. We can either go out to an outside website to do that, or we could just be sending this as a work ticket to, an internal system in IS and ordering this, this equipment internally. Sales lead upload. So, here we've got an example where, maybe a sales lead comes in via email or comes in via our website. It kicks off the bot to go into our customer resource management and start to add this person, whether it's Salesforce or whatever system you might be using. And guys, that's kind of the quick and dirty on RPA. I'd love to address any other questions you might have.
Okay, Monty, so on websites that use authentication like Google CAPTCHA, is human intervention required in that case?
Well, great. That's kind of a specific technical question. It should not be, but I'm not going to swear to that, so I need to run that by a technical resource.
Perfect, thank you. And then additionally, Monty, where can I find more information or documentation on RPA?
Yep, on Hyland's website, we have a dedicated resources, dedicated site for RPA, and I'll send that all along as soon as this is over to everyone who attended.
Okay, thanks, Monty.
Been my pleasure. I'll turn it back over to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Monty. That's lots of great information and lots of great questions. So I hope everyone was able to gain some knowledge about RPA. So just want to make sure that you reach out to TSC or your OnBase support partner to learn more about OnBase features discussed. Join us for our next webinar. It will be behind the scenes look at the latest releases of OnBase on January 18th, 2024. So be on the lookout for our emails and LinkedIn posts and be sure to sign up to be the first to know. Also, if there's any topics you'd like to see covered in the future, please submit your request to info@tsc-ecm.com. Thanks everyone for attending and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.